Hey folks, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy XIII. I'm the Mysterious JG. It's been quite a while since I recorded this game, actually, because what I have done, as you will see when we get to my load screens here, is I have gone and done a whole lot of off-screening. I had a game like 80 hours with us getting ready to begin Act 13. And then I've been doing a whole bunch of off-screening stuff. And I'm going to do something similar. I didn't think I was necessarily going to do this, actually, when I started the LP, but I got into this mode of it was convenient to just grind while listening to other LPs, watching stuff, whatever. And what I've done is something similar to what I did for Final Fantasy X, which is I've gotten right up to the end, and then I kind of got separate saves going so that I could do like a stat max and get characters as strong as they are allowed to be, and try to do all the optional extras. Well, the optional extras in this game, it's kind of like Monster Arena Final Fantasy X, is I haven't decided which one's more irritating, because Monster Arena Final Fantasy X, you're just fighting these palette swaps of monsters with boosted stats. In this game, most of the mark missions, you're just fighting really tough enemies that are the same enemy type as before. It's not really fair to call them palette swaps, because often they look different, a little bit different. They've changed the model slightly, but it's the same fighting style or ability. It's just cranked up stats. But in this game, you wander around on Grand Pulse looking for them, and they're mark missions. You saw me do a few of those earlier. And at least you have the idea that you're hunting something, as opposed to just going to this place, initiating dialogue with the same monster and a guy every time and fighting boss monsters. So I actually did not do all of the mark missions, because frankly it's just boring. And it's a lot of work to seek things out. And there's some of them that, I mean, really ultimately all you're getting out of it is Xbox achievement points. You get Xbox points or a PS3 trophy if you get a 5-star ranking on all mark missions. Otherwise, there are certain other mark missions for which there's no real reward. However, the toughest enemy in the game, at least according to the strategy guide, is one of the mark missions, and it is... The mark missions are numbered. Even in-game, they are numbered, and it's the final mark mission. So I accept what the book says, that it's pretty much intended to be the toughest enemy in the game. I have beaten that. I'm going to beat it again on screen for you guys. I've also done something called Titan's Trials, which is a special sequence of mark missions that actually had some new, although very short, plot sequences spun around them. And I'm going to show you guys that. And I'm going to show you the one or two enemy types that... It's really only two enemy types that we won't have seen otherwise, unless we fight the marks. And there's actually one mark, the Gigantor mark, I haven't fought yet. I fought it, realized, oh shit, I better lose here, because I don't think I'll be... There was a cinema sequence when you fight it, and I was like, oh, I don't think I'll be able to showcase this if I fight it off camera. That may or may not be true. Maybe I could have, but either way, no, I haven't beaten it yet, but since I've beaten the toughest mark in the game, I'm pretty sure I can be able to beat that thing. So, I have to figure out exactly what the smartest way to do this is, but really I've got three things I want to showcase. Gigantor, the Titan's Trials, which includes, along the way, two enemy types that I haven't beaten on camera yet. And then the toughest mark in the game, the toughest boss creature in the game, one of these Final Fantasy bosses that's tougher than the main story boss. And this one is a flying enemy called Vercingetorix, which is, of course, the tag team partner of Steinax. Vercingetorix is, I guess historically, wasn't that like... Is Vercingetorix the guy who led the Gauls against Julius Caesar or something? I don't know. But he's definitely somebody from, like, that period in history, and I think that's who he was. And a Steinax, or Asterisks, I think, was the German comic book character who has a friend who's a fat guy with stripy pants, and he goes around and comically outwits the comic relief Romans, and Vercingetorix is either a famous historical leader or a flying demon creature if you played this game. So let's go ahead and load this, and what we'll do is we'll take a quick run through the Titan's Trials. Because when I realized that there was going to be... See, look at that guy. You will see this guy in the background if you go wandering around. He's right there in the center of the screen. He looks like... It's kind of hard to tell that he's not part of the background. I had a paranoia attack. Let me double check, make sure I'm recording. But, and it looks like I am recording, so that's good. And if I'm going to have a paranoia attack, I need to switch inputs. I might as well do it while we're on this load screen. Even though I could hit the A button and continue now at any time. So, we are in a new section of the map that you guys didn't get to see before. Matter of fact, let me back out here and show you guys some stuff. Do you remember how we rode to someplace and we had a goofy little cinematic with Vanille saying, "Now don't get mad!" She's ripping wool directly off of a sheep-like creature. Well, if you try to keep going in that direction, you come across one of those glowing red walls, which is guarded by a mark. I fought my way past... I cleared that mark mission. I didn't bother to showcase it because it really wasn't terribly interesting. It does have a little cinematic before you fight it, but it's just this little flying creature flying around. There's no dialogue, and it was pretty anticlimactic, so I didn't bother to record it. But if you clear that, this, here's the main Arcalite steps. You may or may not remember there was a ring of those marked missions together in one spot. And you come up here, this is the area where, in here, we had a cinematic with Vanille and sheep. There was also an Ochu creature that we were advised to stay away from. At that point in the game, it was more powerful than you could probably deal with. If you keep going, there would be a wall here stopping you from going on. Actually, it's right there, because that's that in the center of my little crosshairs now is the mark mission you have to defeat to get past it. You get past that, you come into here, we get a little cinematic. Again, I didn't bother to make a save so I could record it. It's just your characters walk into the area and they show a bunch of goblins looking at you guys and making noises, and they're kind of peeking at you from between buildings and stuff, because this is the area that where we are now. It looks like a broken down, ruined city type of area. So we have these little goblin guys, like them down there, looking at you, like poking out from behind rocks. You see there's a village. I've never actually bothered to go into that building over there, but over there, well, you know what, maybe I'll just do that real quick on camera. With Vanille and Fang wandering around. You can actually come inside of here, and there's guys that you can fight. Oh, they're guarding treasure. I never actually got this treasure. Let's do this real quick so we can see what the treasure is. I never actually bothered to do this in my on-screen, and my off-screening. And my off-screen, I have an off-screen state where my guys are significantly more level than this team is right now. Well, not that much more level, but a little bit more level. I actually have an off-screen save where the chrysanthemum has been maximized. All characters are as strong as they can get, except for the fact that your weapons increase magic and strength stat. But other stuff like hit points and defense are maxed. Not on this save state though. On this particular save, we're pretty close to that. We've got all the rolls. Everybody has all rolls maxed except one, and it's that secondary. These roll level crystals are all on the last tier of the chrysanthemum in secondary roll. So basically, everything that you can get except for this ring right here, Lightning already has, and the same goes for other characters. It's a different class type that they're maxing out last. For Fang, it's going to be Medic. For Vanille, it's also going to be Sentinel, I think it was. Actually, I think it's Sentinel for everybody except for Fang and Snow, who are, you know, primary role of Sentinel. For them, Medic is the last thing I'm going to max. Or rather, did max already. But no, I never actually came over here before, so let's check this out. Witch's bracelet. It's not really that big a deal. And then you can come up here, but there's nothing to do up here. But yeah, we had a scene, and there were these goblins, or fiends peeking at us through here. And that was a nice little cinematic that played to introduce you to this area. Which, as you can see, is not particularly big. It does have some new mark missions in it. But the main point of this area is that you... How the hell do I get out of here now? I didn't actually mean to jump on this thing in clear combat. She jumped right into these demon hands tapping at the good job lighting. These guys were not challenging even when I first came here, of course. Now, equipment-wise, take a look. It's in a book, Reading Rainbow. Upgraded one more time to the ultimate weapons for my 3 ladies, because they're the characters that I've been using in the post-game. So, the way ultimate weapons work in this game, you have to get a an item called like a... What is it called? Trapahedron or something like that. Trapezoid or whatever it is. I got one, and then this is something I wouldn't have figured out. It ended up being worth the price of admission, folks, buying the strategy guide for this one, because it shows you that if you upgrade specific character's ultimate weapon to the max, including, you know, upgrading it after you've gotten ultimate weapon type. Remember how she started out with a belladonna, like a Marlboro wand, and then I upgraded to a belladonna wand, but you still need to upgrade that to a higher level of belladonna wand. Well, if you upgrade the belladonna wand to this Nirvana wand, which is her highest thing, you know, make your own Kurt Cobain jokes here, and you upgrade that all the way, then disassemble it, you get 3 of the reagents that you need to get 1 ultimate weapon. So basically, you need to upgrade her weapon all the way to the very top once, then you disassemble it, and you get 3 of the reagents, and the reagent is really the limiting factor. So that's why I was able to get all of these characters, because I got 1 of those reagents and then turned it into 3 and gave it to the ladies. So none of the guys, sadly, have ultimate weapons. They're still using what they had basically the last time you saw me using them. Equipment-wise, I won't bother to really go through the because I changed it up for a later save style we'll be using. But yeah, I've got their ultimate weapons, not leveled up all the way. The ultimate weapons, it has the same name. You remember that Lightning had different weapons she could, base weapons she could upgrade. I was giving her the one that gives you attack charge boosts where you can attack somewhat faster. There are other ones that gave her increased healing abilities. There's some that just give you increased chaining abilities. That's probably the one I should have gone with in 2020 hindsight. The last one you can obtain, I didn't want to wait till the very end of the game before I started upgrading a weapon for her, but the very last one you could obtain has like chain boosting stuff. That probably would have been the smartest way to go for post-game play. But the Omega weapon now retains that it's attack charge times 2. So in theory I could get her 6 different Omega weapons, and each one would retain the properties of what, you know, it started with. But unfortunately, they also have different stats. So the attack charge boosting one has the lowest attack stats. Even though it's her ultimate weapon, I could give her a different, quote, ultimate weapon. It would give her better attack stats at the end. Similarly, I think I didn't really pick the very smartest weapon for Fang. I used the one that has improved counter because I thought that sounded like a really good idea, but I haven't used that many builds where she's a Sentinel. I've been using her mostly as a Commando. And even when she is a Sentinel, she keeps using Metagard. She doesn't use counter very often. And then for Vanille is the only one where I really don't have any question about it in my mind. I'm pretty sure I picked the correct, the debuffing one makes debuffs last longer, I think. Although it might just make them more likely to hit. Either way, it has pretty good stats. I'm glad I went with it. Okay, so been doing a lot of jibber jabber, but I haven't actually gotten around to... See, now we're like hanging around on the top of... I don't remember really having explored this section of the map. This is kind of neat. But no, we need to get back to the... the hell am I on this map? This is like the entrance. So I want to show you guys a mark mission that has a cute little intro movie. And then we're going to go do the Titan's Trials. explain how the Titan's Trials work in a minute. You have to go through the Titan's Trials at least either 6 or 7 times to see everything. But since I'm just gonna go through it one time and then load a state where I'm ready to end it instead of making you watch it 6 or 7 times. So we have a mark mission: Zenobia the Butcher, the undying, fearsome Sith who defy falsy will, driven by an intense loathing of all that lives. Zenobia the Butcher is of their number, and I of her line. But I go now to stay her blade, as my father and his father before him once attempted. The Butcher's den is in the old Acropolis, right? Yeah. At the northern edge of the steppe. There, at the scene of her foulest atrocities, I'll expunge her taint and restore my family's honor. Oh, great, we're gonna go expunge her taint. Zenobia, I don't know if that name comes from mythology. It is the name of the Dark Queen in Ogre Battle, a game that I've occasionally thought about trying to do an LP of. It would be an incredibly long LP. So we come down here and we do a mark mission, and we go in expecting to fight Zenobia the Butcher, which is going to be like every time we fight something with a cool name, it's a scary Sith monster with one glowing red eye. That's what they usually are. And what's this? This is unexpected. So Zenobia the Butcher, and this is how these Sith battles always end too. You get a little cinematic with this crystal flies in the air. But it doesn't seem like this thing wants to be our friend either. And so we start a fight against a Tonberry. Now by the time I got around to fighting this Tonberry, I had a party that was almost stat max and I had ultimate weapons. And what I'm trying to say, folks, is that while Tonberries are still kind of a neat enemy type, I don't think we're really going to get the kind of epic battle against the thing that you might want. Although in different Final Fantasy games, sometimes Tonberries are treated as a regular enemy, and they're supposed to be quite beatable, but a pain in the ass. And you have, like in Final Fantasy VIII, you have a whole area full of Tonberries, and they're just nasty fights, but they're certainly winnable. Like in this case, we see he's got special abilities. His knife attack gets rid of our status buffs. But if it are really supposed to be like nigh invincible bosses, that's not going to come across in this particular game. My party's already too freaking powerful. We're not even going to get to see him use the legendary Everybody's Grudge attack, which, you know, I think the first time it shows up was called Step Mine. Basically, the idea is that it has an attack that the stronger your party is, the stronger it is. So you can't expect to just grind for levels and be able to beat Tonberries. Well, in this game you kind of can. But that attack that it does, we didn't get to see it here. And we might get a chance to see one, folks. Don't worry. But the thing about it is that it heals it. When it does its Everybody's Grudge attack, it gets all of its hit points back, which makes it really annoying. It's not like I can prolong the battle to let you guys see that and then just finish it off. No, if it does that attack, it'll basically get all of its health back. No, I don't want to do this again. What am I doing? Now we want to go this way, because this is basically the real reason to unlock this. Well, I have to get chocobos to get up to here, then you have to defeat a mark to get to here, and you have to get up here, and the real reason to do it is because of what's up here. This is kind of your special, secret, optional stuff, which is essentially impossible to reach. I guess in theory you could get up here before finishing Act 12 and getting your chance to teleport back, but I don't think you're meant to. This is pretty much your post-game faffing about on Pulse. It's all leading up to you come to this place. I sure hope I saved this the way I thought I did, otherwise we have kind of a bit of a wasted video here. So that guy... Okay, we are going to get a little enemy here, so good. I thought I'd save that at the right spot.
Look! That's Titan!
It's a thing that size even eat.
You name it. He's a biogenitor. Chews up one species and spits out another.
Well, you can eat me. And he talks.
It talks?
The struggles of the frail and feeble end in loss. But to your life, waters quicken the seeds of new.
What's it saying? The weak don't even deserve to live?
Yeah, he wants you to bleed to death on... so plants can grow, I guess.
Why don't we let him see for himself who's weak?
Ha! Too weak! So there we go, folks. That's Titan. He pops up, and you're talking about, like, Fang and Vanille apparently totally familiar with this guy, but he pops up and he's like, you know, you guys suck. You should die, then plants can grow from your blood. It'd be awesome. And Lightning's like, fuck you, man! And thus begins the Titan's trials. Here you may face off against a series of powerful adversaries who will test the limits of your fighting prowess in a contest for survival. If you manage to emerge victorious from 4 consecutive battles, you may then continue on to face one of the Titan's final challenges. And there's a little map. This will make a little bit more sense as we go. Upon completing each battle, 2 Seath Stones will appear. Each offers you a choice of your next opponent. Defeat that opponent and you will earn a reward. Succeed in overcoming the final challenge after winning all 4 battles and you will earn a special reward and be returned. Be warned, however, that the enemies you face are extremely powerful. Do not challenge them unless you are sure you are ready. You can return here at any time by touching one of the golden Seath Stones. You will find scattered along the trail. If you are certain you wish to proceed, touch the Seath Stone up ahead. Now, my recollection is that there were 1 or 2 enemies here that are really, really nasty. But by and large, they're really not that bad. But that's probably because I was overprepared when I got here. However, I'm going to make an effort to... I'm going to make an effort to find the 2 nastiest fights. Oh no! How the world looks from up there, he could probably see all the way to space New Zealand from up there. So we have to face Gurngach. He is at you see how that A1 is now lit in gold? Yeah, basically, in order to actually get to the final boss of Titan's Trials, you would need to fight all of these little areas. And as you can see, we start at A1 and it branches from there. So it takes several trips, and you have to kind of pay attention and make sure not to repeat your steps or you're wasting effort. But yeah, you have to go through several times and choose different paths to see everything, and once you've seen everything, then when you get to the end, you get a different boss at the end. So we're gonna fight this guy. In theory, I should have snuck up on him. This will actually... I'm not going to get a 5-star rating here, because you can really only get a 5-star rating against this guy if you surprise him, because he gets a preemptive strike, and you get to stagger him like immediately. You will remember this enemy type from before. This is a palette swap of previous enemies, who you can't hurt them until they're staggered, and once they're staggered, they die really easily. So there we are. And we're just starting grinding away with our Ravager powers. Now, in theory, once we get him staggered, I could use Army of 1 to really build up a stagger meter, but as you can see, he's going to die really quickly now, so there's not much point in any of that. We got 0 stars, because you're supposed to do that in like 10 seconds. And we got a Witch's Bracelet, because this is the first time we've ever cleared this mission. At least it is on this stage of the game, because after we progress through once, and you've seen what it looks like when you beat Titan's Trials once, I'm going to load and show you what happens when you've already beaten all the challenges. That's B2. I want to actually go up to E1. I want to follow, like, on this particular diagram, the top/northernmost path. because the marks that way are more interesting. All of the marks are pretty much going to be palette swaps of things you've seen before, except that one of the enemy types, although I fought it before, I did it off camera, so you won't have seen it yet, so it's a good chance to see it. But yeah, I just want to give you guys the experience of going through Titan's Trials. So here's them all. Souls are wrought of shadow or light, harmony or balance between the two, rejoin the harmonious circle, blah blah blah. See how long this video is going so far. It's really, oof. I guess I'll finish Titan's Trials 1 and then end it. Or I can get up to the one boss that I think will be an interesting challenge and have a cliffhanger. Either way, so what happens, we're on a very small linear map, and there's a mark on it, and after defeat the mark, we'll have branching pathways, and we have to pick only one. There are also occasionally, as you can see, there are regular enemies up there somewhere. If we divert off to the side path, they're probably guarding treasure or something. I can't really be bothered. Here's our mark. These guys are actually not that bad, but they can be a little bit of a pain in the ass, so I like to just throw a few status ailments on them because they heal themselves. And if you throw a few status ailments on them, then it really slows. It makes you kill them fast enough that they can't heal at the same rate that you can kill them. This guy might not even get it. He did get off one blast of his healing, but didn't really make much of a difference. Now this guy didn't get anything status ailments on him. Alright, there we go. Storm Conduction's interesting. He regains health from it because he absorbs electricity, and it does area damage with lightning. It's the kind of thing where if they made a version of this enemy that was like really stat boosted and they had really high magic stats, that attack could be kind of a challenge. But it's not that big a deal. Everybody enjoy a blurry out of focus shot of Vanille, and we'll continue on. We're not even going to bother to go see what those treasures and enemies up there were. We're just going to focus in on the path. I believe I want to bypass that one and grab this one and keep on the path that we were talking about. Fair to lay the moon's, sorry, I was going to read that. If I have the moon, will punish you. The moon's serene caress reveals the truth that no one knowing eye might see. The illusions we name boundaries are but challenges to overcome. Overcome the challenge at the fair to lay, and a greater truth should be divulged. Sounds great. So the plan again is to show you all the post-game stuff. Then I'm going to load from where we started Act 13. So for our final act, we will be at significantly lower stats than what you're seeing right now. So it'll be like Final Fantasy X. You'll see my stat max party beating up on the ultimate boss, and then we're actually going to travel back in time gameplay-wise to a much weaker party, so that we can end the story elements of the game and have the battle seem dramatic. Because if this party took on the final boss, it would crush it in like, you know, a minute. Maybe. If it even took that long. Now, we want to kill these guys as fast as possible because they summon stuff. Luckily, killing these guys as fast as possible is pretty dang easy. You probably can't even really notice that these battles are supposed to be getting tougher as they go. The next battle is probably the first of the Titan's Trials battles that would give you any kind of pause. And then the final boss of Titan's Trials that I'm going to face here by design, is A, the only one that you guys haven't had a chance to already see, and B, the most difficult of the Titan Trials battle, other than the Super Ultimate Titan Trials boss, which we'll face next video. Tonberry, Gaian Grudge. Divine bounty fills the earth with life, giving birth to all creation. Tonberry stands upon the living earth, consuming stagnation within the flow, ready to decide your fate. Face its judgment. Let's do it. We already fought a Tonberry. Why would I be worried? Well, we'll see, folks. We'll see. Oh, hey, before we fight, I forgot about this guy. Let's take this guy on. Despite appearances, he is not surprised. We saw this guy in a cinema scene before, but couldn't do much against him. And his little micro O2 guys attack you. Now, the one that we saw in the other area, he actually had like, I think 6 or 8 of those guys backing him up. So it becomes really important to take them out early, because they do a lot of damage to you through this thing. I want to, there's not a whole lot of status damage you can get on him. You can get a few more. He does tend to launch your guys really high in the air and shake them up, they just don't care. Actually, you can get a few on him, but there's a pallet swap version of him, which is significantly more difficult. We would not have been able to defeat this guy when we first encountered him back in Act 11. Or it would have been, it's possible, but extremely difficult. And the rewards really wouldn't have been worth it.
Time for another approach.
So now we've got him down to like half strength. And he busts out. Wait for it. Speed this first. And suddenly a bunch of these guys pop up again. He does that once at 50% health. So you end up with a bunch more of these guys. And because I had like ultimate weapons and just a lot of firepower, I went ahead and finished them off. Normally, it wouldn't be a good idea, especially if it was going to take you a while to finish them off. You'd want to get rid of these little guys first, because if they keep attacking you, you're just going to be in a bad shape.
Nothing personal.
Although I read somewhere that you're supposed to just ignore them and kill him because he keeps reviving them, but it doesn't seem to me like he does that. Maybe it depends on... I don't know. Ultimate weapon, particularly Fang, is pretty spiky and nasty looking. So there you go, that was an Ochu. One of the very last enemy types in the game that I hadn't killed on camera yet. So, video probably needs to be over now. Yeah, we're gone just a little over. Let's call it a video, and when we come back, folks, we're going to well, when we come back, I'm going to finish this Titan's Trials run, and then we are going to load a game where I am at the end of Titan's Trials, having beaten, because we're going to face one more boss, the Tonberry, and then we have to face a boss after that, which will be the boss of this run. And then I'm going to load state, and I'm going to show you what happens if you get to the end of Titan's Trials, having defeated every possible end boss already. So that'll be next time, folks. And after that, I guess we'll take on a couple things I got to showcase. I got to show you killing one of those giant dinosaurs that's wandering around in the Arclight Steppes. You can also find one in Act 12, wandering around in Eden. So I have to kill Giant Dinosaur on camera for you guys. I'm going to defeat the toughest mark in the game. I have to defeat Gigantor, which I haven't fought yet. And then, all that's left after that is, like, you know, to get the Xbox trophies and stuff, you need to, like, get every item in the game, which will involve upgrading every accessory type, all the weapons. just a bunch of stuff that would be mindless grinding. I mean, I've gotten to the point where I can defeat the toughest enemy in the game, so I'm not really interested in continuing on those lines. So we'll have a couple of bonus videos, sort of, which I'm just, for my own reasons, I'm positioning before the end. But if you want, you can skip past them, especially if you're watching this LP after the whole thing's posted, and not as it's posted. And we'll be coming back after all that nonsense to actually wrap up the story of Final Fantasy XIII. Getting pretty close to the end, folks. I'm the Serious JG. I'd like to thank you guys for watching and your continued loyalty and blah blah, and your faith, and your brave and your vigilance, your protect and your shell, etc. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.